Okay, so we were driving to Seattle from Spokane, and I just discovered that my driving partner doesn't know the story of one of the cities that we're going to be driving through. It's an odd name, but the city has a really odd name, and very few people know the reason or what caused them to name that city that very thing that they did. And the name of the city is Enumclaw. Now, that's an interesting thing. It's way back in the 1800s. I don't remember the exact date, but sometime in the 1800s. Well, it was about the time that Enumclaw was started. It was a place for trappers and loggers, and they were in the woods a lot. That was pretty primitive. They were just pretty much only men there. As women were afraid to go in. Anyhow, loggers, trappers, people like that, and they started the little community started to grow up there, and they didn't have it incorporated, right? They just found a place there that was pretty good, and close by lakes and water, and it was a good place to have a little campground. So it grew and it grew because it was a good place. I just probably had to stay on the road. Stop looking at you. Anyway, I'm changing lanes. Here I go. There, I got it. I got it done safely. All right, so there, one of the trappers is out, and he's going through the woods and checking his traps and everything. And he came upon a trap, and lo and behold, there was something in the trap. And when he went to get it, it was evidently it was some animal who had left part of its body in the trap, and had gotten away somehow, ripped its whatever part was connected to the trap, it got away. But there was a remaining part of that animal in the trap, and so he did the weirdest thing he'd ever seen. He'd never seen any kind of body part like this thing was, and so he gathered it up, took it into the town. Everybody was amazed and talked about it for a long time, and nobody really understood what it was, but it was so odd what he found that they just kept it in the family, that they kind of put it in a case, because nobody ever seen anything like it. And so they, over the time went by, and the guy that found it, he settled down, found a wife eventually, and had some kids, and they saw this thing that he found. He said, "What the heck is that?" And he said, "I don't know, I found that in the trap. I never could figure out what it was." And so they inherited it. They always it was so weird that they all figured, okay, well, this odd thing is kind of neat. Let's keep it. So it stayed in the family for decades. They had that claw, and they just kept passing it down. Oh, I'm sorry, I gave it away. They had that body part. Well, kind of resembled the claw, but it wasn't the claw like anybody's claw or any cat or any animal anybody had ever seen before. They had absolutely no idea what that claw was. Well, and so about several generations later, one of the grandkids became an anthropologist or something, or he was interested in fossils and all kinds of stuff, whatever that kind of person is, digging in the dirt and stuff. And so he saw that thing, and he says, I think that might be something that nobody's ever seen before. Well, everybody had ever said anything about the thing said that it was something they'd never seen before, so that wasn't like a revelation. But you kind of can say that. I've never seen anything like that. I don't know anybody seen it, but then you're just kind of saying that because you haven't seen everything, so you might not have seen that, and somebody else might have seen it. But this was a case where he said, "No, I don't think anybody in the world's ever seen anything like that." It looks a lot like a big claw, but it's not fitting any species that we'd ever seen before. So he went back out into the area where they had, where his great-great-grandfather, whatever it was, discovered this thing. And now that this was, it had been a long, long time ago. Maybe it wasn't that many generations. I can't remember exactly how many they said, but it was, anyhow, it was in the family for a long time. And then one of the kids decided they wanted to find out what it was. So they went in and they went back and excavated that whole area. And they found, sure enough, they found a prehistoric animal that had never been seen before, and it was missing one of its claws.
Oh, gee.
And so they named the town after that claw. Well, the guy's name was Johnny Numnakabak. So he decided to name the town after himself, and that claw, and the name of the town is Enumclaw. Now, very few people know that story. In fact, I think I might be the only one that knows that story. But now I told the world, so everybody knows it. 'Cause I knew that guy personally, I actually was a chaplain at his deathbed, and he was telling me this whole story about this claw. And how he passed it down to his family. His family finally figured out what it was, and then on and on. And the name of the guy, I said, okay. And then he died. So I figured, well, why would you want to tell me that story if it wasn't true? I mean, but nobody else was there, He was hollering for the chaplain. I'm going to die. I need the chaplain. Okay, I'll show up. Okay. And by golly, I tell you what, he said, chaplain, I think I ought to give my life to Christ. And I said, well, that's a good idea. Why didn't you do that in the past? He says, well, I wanted to have fun. So now I'm going to die. I need to get right with God, don't I? Yeah, I said, you could have had a lot of fun up to now, but you didn't realize it. Anyhow, so then he said, this is a true story. He gave his life to Jesus right there. Right, and then he died. He honestly did. He just died. He just, said, well, I believe Jesus is my Savior, and I want to go to heaven with him, and confess I'm a sinner and all that stuff you're supposed to say that probably God doesn't care that much about, because he's worried about your heart, not so much what words you say. Anyway, so that's the story of the Enumclaw. Now I found out about it, and nobody else ever heard the story, and I just kind of figured if I ever told anybody that story, they wouldn't believe me anyway. So that's the end of that. God bless y'all and have a great day.